You guys there? Anyone?
This room is just killing you.
Are you in like a closet? Where are you?
No, I'm in my house. Okay.
That's okay. All right, is everyone good?
Recording.
Oh, wait for Ray. All right, everyone. Welcome. Bush Banter, episode 8, bringing you the hottest IBL hot takes, coast to coast, all around the world. Millions of people around the world watching. You know that you want to hear about the Inter-County Baseball League, and we're here to bring it. So, we don't have a special guest this week. This is kind of weird, boys. So I thought I'd just introduce the Bushmen. So we got Cameron Hagren. Are you in the building?
I'm here.
Yes, mofo. E. Hill, I see you down there. Are you here?
I'm here and I'm ready, boys.
Yes, guy. And then coming up the rear, Mr. Ramon Natali. Are you in the building?
Hello, gentlemen. Another week in quarantine.
Finally.
It's going to end soon.
Course,
It'll end soon, I think. I don't know.
I'm also in the building. And
sorry, Garrett.
Always drinking that Bush. Yeah,
the Bush podcast might honestly just be like a diary of our 4 lives because every week.
I know. The sad thing is it's the only thing I look forward to in the whole week is getting on the Bush Banter podcast.
Well, so do our millions of followers.
Ray, that's why they're here. They're here to listen to you. So I thought we'd kind of start off, boys, with, we haven't had a group session here in a while. We've been interviewing all these infamous athletes.
Legends.
Worldwide. We had, of course, Sean Riley, the Babe Ruth of the IBL, as they call him, of the Guelph Royals. Followed up by his coach, obviously, Coach Dave DeBocourse, a.k.a. Coach Tebow. He was a beaut. And then finally wrapping up with our boy, Toppoli, Damon Toppoli. So, guys, was there anything that stood out? I wrote down a ton of stuff because there is some great all of those.
I felt with all of those guys, we could just talk for hours.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of IBL they knew was legendary.
Especially Hagers when you come up with that brain twister on Riley.
Buddy.
Generic question.
Clearly,
what was your favorite team? He's like, what? Like, what do you mean?
Honestly, guys, and I know it made you guys feel bad how good of a journalistic question that was.
It was great.
I got a call from Elliot Friedman. He says, "Can I at my next interview?" I had to say no.
Well, Cam, I think that's the 6th W in the line of answering questions, doing a proper interview. The who, what, when, where, why, and why are you asking that?
No. It's who, what, when, where, why, and what?
Yeah. The funny thing at O'Reilly, so there's a couple things I wrote down. One being he thought we were a bunch of homeless guys and then realized we had jobs.
That was
Which
great.
I didn't think was far off, but it was pretty funny.
Have you seen us looking lately? Like, come on, man.
I'm getting
Hager's stats.
I'm getting back curls.
We should get an update on Ray's love curls and Hager's just gritty stash that's just getting even more beautiful. The other thing I wrote that I thought was pretty funny was the biggest meltdown, and he didn't even really hesitate. He's like, "Oh, Lawson." Just carved up Lawson. So
immediately,
I thought that was pretty.
And
funny.
he tried to slide it past us that we get to his pictures and everything like that, because you heard him saying, he's like, "Oh yeah, me and Tebow were out there right away to let the guys know, don't worry about those bumps on the hill." And I was sitting there, and I'm like, "Yo, you're basically telling us that we're getting in their heads."
Yeah,
like that.
More fuel to the fire. Thanks a lot, Coach.
That's it.
Anything else stand out for you guys, like from Tebow or Tops? Like, was there anything you wanted to bring up, or any good intel you got from those?
One of my favorite things from the first 2 interviews was the fact that both Tebow and Riley tossed away their Guelph Royals stuff right away and put on Maple Leafs gear. So, you know what? Right on, boys. We know you're on another team, but always a Leaf in our hearts.
Yes, like that. Elliot, did you have any questions in mind that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was. I think we really should have questioned Riley on when he asked us to sing him a song as a visitor. We first interview, we were a little off that one, but you know what, Mr. Riley, like you gotta earn that, man.
Yes, that's for Maple Leafs, current Maple Leafs only. Okay. What I actually like from the Tebow interview is, we hear about all these brawls and dust-ups this guy gets in, whether he's a coach, whether he's a player. But the one that happened with Brantford, when we just started talking about it, it was in Game 7. And then they rallied from down 2 to score 8 straight to win. So, if those fists are flying, the boys are getting up and they're getting after it. I thought that was hilarious.
What was the great line that he said about slogging the ham or something when he?
Oh, I know. I took my first one connected. The second one totally hogged air.
Yeah, hogged air. Yeah, that was great.
Those were awesome. It was awesome to have those guys, like 3 legends, right?
Oh, absolutely,
Right off the bat.
absolutely.
It's great.
One more thing I'd written down on the Tebow train was, what do you think those Dominican scouting trips were like? He's like, we're not staying at the classiest places. We got to go back into the woods. He's like, I know how to handle myself, but some people.
Oh, but man, I bet you those must be so much fun. Like, you're going down there, you're doing a scouting trip, and and then you're like, there's off days to like hang out. You go to the beach, you enjoy yourself. Oh no.
Oh,
With the
Is
Tebow,
me? Hold on. Everyone pause
Yeah,
just a
just
second.
it was just you. It was just you.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, with me talking to these guys, it was really cool to learn about the previous history of the IBL. The fact that Topps gave us that hot take, it was called the IC.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Not only that, it was aluminum bats until 95. He's like, oh yeah, the scores were 20-18. I was like, yo, bring them back. Let's see some madness out here.
Oh,
That
even
was
without
wild.
bats, there's still madness out there. How many 15-run games did we see? Like, we're not hurting for runs.
Yeah, there's some crooked numbers.
Yeah, imagine too if it was aluminum bats and Ben Johnson.
That was the best.
Imagine Ben Johnson.
Where did that even come from?
No, because what it started with, Ray, was I asked him. I said, you hadn't have a steal in a decade. And he said, he's like, the reason I don't have many steals on my stats is it was like up until 2005, there was a rule in the league that he said that's in NCAA, where if the catcher gets on base, you can have a pinch runner, right? He's like, so that's why I didn't get too many steals.
Yeah.
And then he's just suddenly like, oh yeah, we had Ben Johnson tried out for the team. Like, imagine we came to the pits, we're like crippled, like heckling, and then suddenly we're just like, yo, was that Ben Johnson at first?
I gotta say, you know what? Even Santos still would be outrunning Ben Johnson in his prime.
Sure.
Santos has got them wheels. It'd be tight, tight race, but I give it to Santos.
For sure. The other thing from the Topps interview, which I really hope that this Leafs organization, turns it around and sees herself at the top of the standings, was, in the early 2000s, the Leafs were a friggin' juggernaut.
Oh yeah.
Like, Ray, you pulled those two stats that it was there to combined 5 losses in 2 years. Topley didn't lose one home game at the pits for
wild.
2 years.
Well, that's up to us.
3 years.
That's up to us. We got to bring the pits back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but you know
people, the millions out there watching, we need you down.
Well, we got a lot of international fans, though. We got a lot of international fans
Korea,
with quarantine.
Korea.
And you know what, boys? The other thing, too, just on that, throughout all the insane losses that we've watched, how good of a time have we always had? And we never leave early. So, you know what? Hats off to the Bushmen. Hats off to the Leafs.
We'll
And that
just
we
pump
got
our
you.
own tires.
Yeah.
Let's just go pump our own tires.
Pump 'em.
I was trying to see where Ray was going with that. It's like, so we just give ourselves a pat on the back, and everyone watching, like, you should kind of give us a pat on the back.
Just honestly, guys, to everyone out there, some advice: just be more like us. Right? Is that what Ray said? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
if you ever
man.
find yourself in a park at 2:00 and you don't have about 8 beers on hand, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. The other thing too that I thought was amazing in going through the interviews was how dominant the home record of the Ottawa Fat Cats in the early aughts, the early 2010s. Because those guys would go up there, like you said, there was a hotel on site at the stadium for 2 days. You get food 3 meals a day. It's like you're a pro, like a legit major league player for 2 days, and then you just make work on Main Street in Ottawa. You show up the next day, whiskey breath, breathing fire, and just taking losses and marching your ass back home down the 401 westbound.
You know those beaver tails outside the Byward?
You guys there? Anyone?
I mean, this room is just telling you.
Are you in like a closet? Where are you?
No, I'm in my house. Okay, we're back.
All right, we're back. Bushbanter episode 8, maybe 9. I don't know where we are in the process here.
It's all right. It's all right.
So,
Technical difficulties.
So I thought I'd say, obviously, big shout out to our guests that we've had. We've had both coaches, right? Top of the world. We had Coach Tebow. We also had Sean Riley. I want to give a special thanks to them. And then also a special thanks to some committed guests we have coming up, boys. Would you like to hear who we have on the roster? Well, sir, I'll tell you. We got Cicatello, our boy, the guy who just crushed it, almost leading in the ERA. We got that guy coming up. After that, we got the owner, the majority owner of the Welland Jackfish, Ryan Harrison, coming on, which is going to be great.
Woo!
Obviously, hold up, this is an IBL, like it's a Leaf centric, but we have to reach out to get the enemy.
The enemy.
What is it, like? Have friends close, but your enemies closer?
Yeah.
Is that the?
Essentially, we don't want these other teams pulling a London and just bitching off to do a feedback loop to themselves, tell themselves how great they are.
Yeah.
I know it's you, Brosy. I know it's you, Brosy. No, it's your dude.
So special thanks to those two, and then we also, this is another big get. All three from the biggest triumvirate, the biggest family in all the IBL. Vara, give it to ya. You got it. That shit.
You just got me riled up for that.
Yeah, exactly. We got them coming up, the 3 Mara clans.
Well, the best part too is we have the entire middle of the diamond essentially, except for a center fielder. We got Dan in second. We got Adam on the mound. We got Justin behind the dish.
But
Sister Mara, do you play center field? Maybe get you.
We just need the 4th. Yeah, for sure. So I thought I'd just give a shout out to those guys, and then anyone else out there watching. Obviously we'd love to have you guys on and just spit about the IBL. That fingers crossed. This is a big fingers crossed, boys. I don't know if you heard from our boy Dofo recently.
Whoa.
He's talking about opening up the golf courses, which to me means those city parks are on the way. Which to me then means that we may have an IPL 2020 season. Woo!
Oh man!
I think it's gonna happen.
I heard it was
the boys are itching. The boys are itching.
Start of June or something. I mean, because if they're opening up dog parks and they're opening up city parks.
Right.
So that means Christie Pitts is a city park.
There you go.
Yeah,
home with the boys.
It's just I think it's sport permits. It's permitting, but the city said June 1st a month ago.
Legit though, So a lot of the other parks, like for everyone else who hasn't, traveled around to every IBL park like the Bushmen,
You gotta scope.
a lot of these parks are actually on city property, so they are, hereby run by like city regulations. So what I was just thinking, and this is me just kind of brainstorming, we're talking about this, if they can't allow the permits at the other parks, maybe the pits becomes the hub city.
Oh, Hub
All the
City.
IPL
I like
action.
it. I like
How
it.
sick would that be?
I like it. Well,
Hashtag Hub
I brought this up before. If some of the other towns still don't let fans into the stadiums because of whatever stipulations or whatever, the
Right.
pits could be the only place
Yeah.
that we might be able to catch some IBL action, in which case it is going to be so crazy. Just oh my God, Ambrose, you better be ready for the fire.
But what's you know what though, that's a good thing. We can ask the Welland owner. Is it Brian? You said Brian?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
We could ask him because the Jackfish are going to be on top of it.
Oh,
They're gonna
and
do
they
it
want it to happen.
in the seats.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
you know,
sure. It's crucial. It's crucial for them to get some ticket revenue and, just at least have something going on.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this? I had this idea the other day, just for Christie Pits, is like I can make like a big styrofoam target, right? And we can position it out in the just outside one of the outside the fence, maybe in left field. And if a home team player hits a home run onto the target, we buy a case of beer.
I love it.
Just as some incentive.
He's
For
like,
a-
I mean, he's like, so wait,
Buy ourselves a case of beer
Yes.
Bush.
We get a case of beer. No, we buy one for the team, and then we also buy one for ourselves.
What guy on the opposing roster is going to be opposed to that? He's like, so wait, I hit a legit walk-off jack, and then I get a case of beer bought for me? Yeah. That's
I think you limit it to just for the Leafs. Like even if they
only
hit
for the
it,
Leafs.
bro,
If an opposing player hits it, they owe us beer.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like
it, but it's got to be Bush.
Yes, obviously.
And shout out to whoever's at Bush. Get at us. We're giving you mad pub. We have millions of people worldwide, and we're only drinking that product. So if you want to send these cases for Hay Green's promotional thing, then I think it's worth it.
I want to see.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to see because they released that candy corn can or whatever it was. You saw that in their Instagram posts and whatnot. Why not release a Bush Life Bush can? You want to make that for us? Throw it at Hager's.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
On another front, Ray, I thought you might be proud of me because I ditched those old red delicious apples and I picked me up a new
What do you got there? Is that a fake one or
a cherry?
What? What is that junker, man? You got Gala? I like it. I like it. I like it.
Tomato.
What's that? A fake one? So I'll take a bite.
It does. It looks like a plastic. You got that like an IKEA. Like
a classical one of those plastic apples for a second. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So
I like how you didn't even take the sticker off.
Yeah, did you just bite sticker on that?
It's biodegradable.
Right over the sticker.
That's what it's
biodegradable. You did not wash it.
It's biodegradable. Oh God.
What do you guys feel about the classic shirt rub? Do you think that does the trick for an apple?
Oh yeah, it gets a little polish. It's classy, man. So one thing I want to give a shout out to is the IBL actually for doing the live streams of the old games.
Yeah.
I found that to be nice. Obviously, sports out there, everyone's kind of watching these old recap games, and I want to give a Bush shout out to them. And they're doing great production on them. You see the recast? They have the graphics up.
Pencala's where is this? Where is my funding to have this redone? Send points to our boys Corey Graham and Eric Pencala, please.
Come on, these guys can't even get an internet hotspot out there. This is crazy.
Cash. Yeah. Give them some cash.
Jack, come on, man. We'll bring the people. You get the live stream set up. All right.
Corey's data is being crushed. He's it's
But this
thousands
guy-
of dollars a month.